Hello. So, I am out of my cave today. I am chilling for the moment in the dying sun, for fun. Actually, to experience the world. I made a decision in the last 2 days. The topic came up, and I was like, oh, I guess it is that time. This is kind of how things go along with my treatment for the epilepsy, and also all the stuff that comes with it. Of course, you know, like I don't have epilepsy, so it's not something that, and that is a key thing. I do not have epilepsy. I absolutely cannot have an epilepsy diagnosis. Like, that it's not available to me. That's not available to me at any point in time in my life because of the condition that I was born with. Of course, I've been watching my patterns and stuff, and it is always a hard time in the springtime, so I cannot make any changes whatsoever during the springtime. But I was presented the option to cease my last medication treatment, and realized that my mind was really foggy, and I was utilizing autopilot a lot for everyday stuff, which actually for me are parts of a narcolepsy, and it wasn't going away. I was like, okay, you know, it makes sense that I had the problems in February and March, off and on constant narcolepsy, but that stuff has only ever been right for my week of like my female cycle, because I can't take birth control. So the thing is that bipolar medications, antidepressants, psych meds, all of these things I cannot utilize for very long. A lot of people, okay, for one, I don't have a mental illness. So that's the thing. So the problem is, though, it was way more extreme when I stopped the bipolar bipolar medications are like way more effective. I was also on a much higher dosage, like in the scheme of things, even though they're two different medications. So I had to use the antidepressant because when they did all the pain med treatments and stuff last year, I could not get back up on my feet, and I was not eating. Like, I couldn't cook, like I couldn't think clearly enough. And for me, I don't have, like, that is my bipolar. It's just cognitive symptoms. I don't have the mood part. I don't have I could have irrational thoughts if I was, like, in that environment, but, like, it doesn't meet that far. Like, if say your brain is down here and there's a triangle sitting on top of your head, you know, like, say 2 points go and they meet, that point which those lines cross and stuff is the threshold, and that is a really good example of like stress. Like, you have to be able to have bipolar, and lots of people aren't for various reasons. I am not, because I am not able to have bipolar physically, because my body doesn't work like that. So I understand what happens, and on both sides of the X. On the bottom part of before, you know, when you're prone to bipolar disorder and you're just having relationship type issues, literally not with people and stuff, but like, you know, how does this affect this, and cause and effect, and time. So that's relationship issues, is time. You have to be able to keep time in order to have, and know cause and effect in order to be in a relationship. And on the other side of it, once those points meet and you cross over and stuff, your body starts fighting back, because it knows, and that is the wound that happens when you have bipolar disorder. You know, bipolar disorder, it's not a place that you're supposed to be. It's kind of similar to a hernia. You know, when you have unmedicated bipolar disorder and you are aware of it, you kind of are walking around with your guts hanging out. And so, in this day and age and stuff, like that kind of stuff, you know, to the rational mind, as most of us are at this age, literally, we are older with time, experience, and stuff. You know, it makes you even more like reactive, because it's like you have more that you've experienced up to the point in which you have a break with reality and go into the psychosis. Even if you come out of that within, like, it's not, you don't come back fully to the bottom. So there's an X, and you know, it's sitting on top of your head and stuff. You don't go all the way back down to the base of it. You only go back a little over, you only come down back from being on the other side. So you never really return to a baseline when you're bipolar, when you have a psychotic episode. If you have a psychotic episode, and for me, crossing over that threshold is a seizure. Crossing over that threshold is an epileptic state. It's not even within that state I can have a seizure. So, that is the place in which, you could have, fighting with people, not giving a shit, not being able to, you know, put one foot in front of the other logically. It is really important to you and to other people to, you know, get pulled back down out of that place. It is not nice to yourself. We have a whole world of sensations that you can experience. You know, like I was talking about with the, you know, threshold there, you know, life is also like that. Not only do you have the world around you to experience, but you also can watch, you know, how your body interprets the world around you and stuff. All those things can be really positive. So, I got this idea. I was having symptoms. I'm like, oh, you know, it might be time for me to stop this. I had absolutely no idea how long I was going to have to do this or what. You know, I was thinking years, but sure enough, you know, we're looking right at 9 months again, that I am officially 2 days in, and I do feel weird. I feel a little I feel a little sick. Not bad, but like I feel like it dropped my immune system down a little bit, and that makes sense. It is a Lexapro, even at 5 milligrams, which is something that a lot of doctors won't even prescribe because it is half of the normal medication. Is usually, it is the starter dose. If you've never taken anything before, most, like I said, lots of doctors won't even prescribe you 5 milligrams. They start you at 10. But like when you utilize a medication, you take it once a day, every single day. That's one. Okay, so you know how that's annoying? Well, yeah. So, my system also thinks so, but like, I am 100% going through, have had, the beginning of my menopause symptoms. I hit them right as I, 100% right as I turned 40. I've been having some symptoms for about 2 years or something now. I knew it was coming. Like I could feel that, and sure enough, the symptoms are monthly. They started at 39 years old. And some of the symptoms that I have experienced are with the psych meds have to do with my reproductive system. Long story short, I haven't taken the antidepressant in 2 days because my vision was not getting better. Antipsychotics are a pain medication. All psych meds are pain medications. So I'm cramping today, and that makes no sense. I literally am a couple days before ovulation. I've never had cramps at this point ever. That's just not a thing. So I think that's kind of funny, is the point. I think it's kind of, the sun's already like started to go down. At first it was shining in my face. Anyways, so ouch. But also, yay, that means that like my body is registering like that. No, I am having psychiatric symptoms from the antidepressant and have to stop it. It's not just me. It's not just like, oh, I can't think and I can't do this and that. Like, it's causing other symptoms. So, it's not just the negatives, it's also has positive symptoms, and that's not good. So, I think that's how that's mathed out. Negative symptoms is like, oh, I can't function like I could when I'm not taking it. And positive symptoms are add-ons, like pain or movement and stuff in your body, and you can feel it, like tremors and stuff. So, I have noticed that, like, that I do have autism spectrum disorder in the last couple weeks. There are certain times that, it is very, like, I have no emotional reaction, at all, like, to things, and I register them. They're processing, unlike being on the antipsychotic stuff, just didn't register. I wasn't latching on to things being said. I'm definitely not, have not been like angry. I've had all kinds of normal, like, rotating, not aggression, but what is the right word? Tension and stuff that I'll verbalize. And so that's not completely normal, but it is literally the same symptoms that I was having when I had to stop the Lamictal. The thing is that it literally is just like any psychiatric med, and I feel a ton better with stopping it. Already. I have a headache today. I'm having some female cramps, but my energy feels great. I feel normal. My sense of smell is a little different today, and so I know that that's it. Like, I just have a whole collection of reasons, and I'm like, okay, that was definitely the right decision. Has worked absolute wonders and miracles for me. Super great idea. Like, the absolute best, that was the best decision I could have made last year. And I'm super glad I did, but like, I definitely have to have my mind about me. I have to have my wits about me. I can't be being frustrated because I'm having lots of symptoms. My nervous system is rejecting the antidepressant, so I have to stop taking it. And sure enough, when your body's rejecting a medication, and this isn't a very common thing, like this doesn't happen to anybody. It's not very common for your body to reject the medication. Usually you stop taking it because, for various reasons. Lots of people, it's just because they aren't paying attention. So I stopped taking the medicine, and honestly, like, I feel like I took today off from work, but, because I have absolutely no idea what is gonna be coming next. Also, it was one of those things where I would just kind of let go. Yesterday, and yesterday evening I prepared, I made myself a bunch of, meals and stuff like that, and, I have everything scheduled out, like when I'm gonna work, when I gotta pay my bills and stuff like that, and that's super important. I'm in a little pocket to where I've got good days, everything's timed correctly, but I am just so amazed. So my vision is interesting. So my vision is not all that great today. But the thing is that it's from in a different way. I have been having a lot of problems with my vision, but I am not overstimulated. Like, I can open my eyes really a whole lot and stuff. When it was bright outside, I could look into the sun. I wouldn't my eyes haven't been rolling in the back. They're not rolling in the back of my head, and they haven't been rolling in the back of my head today. That's been going on for like 2 months now. Not constantly, but like, me trying to do things, get enough sleep, eat differently, just poking myself constantly, trying to keep my eyes from rolling in the back of my head. The thing is that when that happens, when I have that type of vision loss, and it is psychogenic paralysis type, like vision loss and stuff, because it is emotion based, and it sucks. It is very much like losing your vision, and what that would be like, emotionally. That is what it feels like, without even thinking about it. Like, it's just, because it's psychogenic. It's in mental. It's not like an eye injury or a disease of any sort. So you lose your shit during all that. It makes you mentally unstable. For me, having autism spectrum disorder, that is part of it. That is having a selfish autistic nervous system. That is autism spectrum disorder. I've been dealing with numbness in one part of my leg since about 2011. Sometime between 2010 and 2012. I remember that was my first thing that I was like, that's not normal. Of course, you know, I had stuff when I was a teenager, but my doctors would like say, oh, it's this, even though I didn't have all the symptoms. And that is the reason why I started going to a psych doctor at 20 years old, is because when I'd go to the doctor, nobody ever made any fucking sense. Just last year, and this is an example, just last year, I had, one of the last times I went to the hospital, they put in my paperwork that I had essential tremors. The thing is that essential tremors is I forget the right word for it, but like a disintegrating disorder. You can't have essential tremors and not have a disorder behind it, like Parkinson's disorder, or like old age or something. Like, it's a permanent condition, and it's something that will end in like your death. So the fact that I was diagnosed, you know, or had written in my paperwork that that's the reason why I was at the hospital last year was essential tremors, I was like, this is very much like the shit that I've always had to deal with. And so I found out about a week ago that is a disorder, that I do have functional neurological symptom disorder, and I have all the symptoms that I have had, and it lists them. Like, it has the list of the things that I have been through, and I've had every single one of them, and I can't really say that I had anything other than what that is. Like, it's exactly 1,000,000% just that. And you know, that's something that I would, you know, a practicing doctor, not something that they're going to tell you in the ER. And that is the reason, that is how that works. But, you know, I am logical, you know, I figured that out. I didn't figure that out as a teenager when they would tell me I had laryngitis with no symptoms other than not, you know, losing my voice. And I'd be like, what in the world? And that is part of functional, like, that is part of the functional neurological symptom disorder, where everything's psychoactive. It's not from a disease, an injury. It is a whole bunch of random symptoms that literally, it has to do with a conversion thing, where your body pretty much, just like a computer or any kind of system, is like, it's not making connections, it gets an error message, it throws up a symptom. Numbness, like, I mean, when I say numbness, I mean, like, I waxed my legs one time and the whole front of my shin was numb for months. That is simply that my nerves were like, we're not going to send signals anymore, we're mad at you. So my nervous system has bipolar. I do not have bipolar. I do not have the personality part, like the mood, the thoughts and all that. My nervous system is sensitive and prone to error. That is autism spectrum disorder. Sure enough, like, I can't really imagine any other situation to, I mean, there are signs of it, like people will get this or will get that, but, you know, I have the literal full condition. So that means also that as a woman, the neuropsychiatric medications and stuff like that, they affect and touch down. This is what it has to do with, is the hypothalamus, which is a little like seahorse shaped part of your brain in the very center. Like it's not the pineal gland, but the pineal gland is like right and attached, and it's literally right in the middle of your brain, kind of down here. But yeah. So, and that has to do with, it regulates your temperature, it regulates everything, like your automatic like symptoms and stuff like that. So I really hope that this all works out. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't, considering you know, upon taking something, I feel a lot better. The one symptom that I do have today that I'm just kind of like, about, is I do feel, a little bit of, I wouldn't say anxiety, it's not anxiety, but like, cardiac tension. And it's not that big of a thing. I am back to being pretty active physically and feel really great about it. It's been helping me a lot. The antidepressant definitely made me put the shoes on my feet. That was definitely a thing. Definitely helped me start moving around and stuff, but I don't need it anymore. Kind of like training wheels. So that's really awesome. I really can't. It's gonna be a little bit of time before I can really. I'm calm, very calm right now, and I will probably be very lackluster and kind of calm for the next 2 weeks, at least. And that's good. I would like, to stay. Like I said, I don't ever really have any psychiatric problems and stuff, but it's been, at this point, doing, the regimen with the Lamictal, and the thing is with the seizures, because I'm not able to have epilepsy, is it was also a behavioral thing. I couldn't just rest and heal because I kept mentally hitting that wall. So I had to stop myself by taking the Lamictal. And I mean, not my literal hands, but like my movements and my behavior and the actions in my mind. Navigating those same pathways over and over and over again. So, I had to, that was my version of a mental illness, is a behavioral thing. I was able to stop that. I was able to go through all the therapy and stuff. I was able to work out the thoughts that I couldn't quite match together and whatnot. And I then proceeded with the Lamictal once I got all of that worked out and got educated about all the different steps that I was going through. It's really hard to hang on and utilize something if you don't understand all the steps. And that's okay, but at the same time, like, if you're, I as a person who has a sister who's mentally and physically disabled, I don't want to be disabled. I don't want to, you know, I want to contribute. I have people that I care about and I love, as, you know, a functioning adult and stuff, and I want to be a part of that. I don't want to be, completely relying on somebody else. That's not the way that humans are built. I don't believe that that's something that, you know, we should all strive, or that anybody should strive, you know, or settle with. If you have the ability, you know, I don't agree with that. So there's no reason for it. I have stuff that I have to do. I have people that count on me, and I have people that count on me because I want them to count on me. So, you know, community, love, family, you know, work, appreciation of the planet that we have been given. I really hope that this continues to be a good thing. I am extremely nervous because I first started the regiment of, I went into the hospital at the very beginning of January 2024 in status epilepticus, and the amount of land that I have and study that I have covered is about as much land as Forrest Gump did, and, you know, as much as he ran, Forrest did in Forrest Gump, that's about as much as I have traveled in the past 2 years. So I think that I am pretty prepared for what comes next and stuff, even though I don't really, I mean, I am prepared, but I don't know what's going to happen. I am hungry, though, so I do need to go back to the house and eat. I'm sitting at QT, my favorite local gas station. They are very nice to me as a delivery driver. They keep me hydrated in the summertime with lots of ice water, so that's great, and I'm really appreciative towards them for that. But yeah, I feel kind of icky. My cognitive skills are not all that great right now. You know, I get really tired of, like, the one little complaint that I do have is that, you know, I do, as everybody does, deals with people who don't know the difference between a mental illness and a cognitive, like a physical problem. They don't know the difference between a behavioral condition and, like, a physical condition. Autism disorder is a physical disorder. It is not a behavioral disorder. It has behavioral specifics about it, like not being able to have an epilepsy diagnosis. So it has behavioral aspects of it, signs and stuff, which technically aren't signs. That would be behavioral aspects, like I said the first time. It is 100% something you were born with. It is definitely not an action. It is not a behavioral thing. It's not something that you decide. It's not a functional issue. It's something that you go through as a kid. It has to do with, it is a neurological disorder, or a neurological proneness to a difference. It is not something that has to do anything to do with your relationships around you. in a behavioral sense. It means that you have less function than other people do, not behaviorally, but actions, meaning that it's not an intelligence issue. However, it has to do with intelligence, where some disorders like dyslexia do not have anything to do with intelligence. Autism spectrum disorder means your baseline of intelligence is higher than everybody else. It's an extremely rare diagnosis. Is like, as a person, like as the way your neurological system is made and built up and stuff. There isn't anybody recorded, like literally in history, that has it. There isn't anybody recorded that has gelastic epilepsy. Gelastic epilepsy has been talked about for at least 2,000 years. And there is nobody that can be named that has ever had it, but it is a thing. I am prone to gelastic epilepsy. So, that's all real. I may not be a pharmaceutical doctor, but I have a, really excellent, between me and my sister, you really cannot get any more on the planet working knowledge of first-hand experience of how our bodies work, and where it's gonna go if I touch right here, somewhere else on your body. Like, those kind of things are just natural to me. So I have to trust in God and let Him do His job, and know that my knowledge is based in on that line, and it's not something that I can sit here and be like, oh, I know this, this is, this is how this works and stuff. It's one of those things that somebody has to ask me a question. I can't, suggest. I can suggest and talk to you about community and relationships and family, and put, my say-so about something like that in, but, I can't, if you haven't done the work, if you don't know what I can look at you and tell, but I cannot tell somebody who's never been on medication that they should start taking medication. That's what I mean. I'm not that kind of doctor. So, a real doctor. I really hope that this continues to work out. I did not know, like I said, until last night that this was going to be a thing, but this is where I am at today. Lots of new changes. Hope it works out well. My body and mind and everything is really tired, but I have had a lot of practice thinking and working, and so it's going to be okay. It's funny how psychiatric medications make me have psychiatric symptoms, but that is part of functional conversion neurological disorder. I hope everybody has a good rest of the week.